As casualties continue to mount among SANDF troops deployed as part of SAMI-DRC, condolences from the high echelons of the United Nations. That's currently engaged in a phased withdrawal from the country after a request from President Felix Tshisekedi for MONUSCO's complete withdrawal from the DRC.
Let me express our deepest condolences to the Republic of South Africa for the death of these two soldiers, and of course we hope that those who were injured as a result of these attacks will recover soon. In terms of the coordination with between SAMI-DRC, the SADC, and MONUSCO itself, it is ongoing. We do believe that it is very important to sustain and indeed take forward this coordination, because it is a very complex situation, a complex theater of operation, and it's critical that we do our level best to make sure that we have the highest level of coordination.
The UN on Tuesday announced the successful withdrawal from South Kivu Province, which marks the end of the first phase of its disengagement from the country, as agreed with the Congolese government. Of this withdrawal, we pressed Lacroix on whether this continued withdrawal would risk leaving a security vacuum, and whether other forces left there would be up to the task.
The disengagement plan that we agreed with the Congolese authorities provide for a first step, which is now completed. That is the disengagement from the province of South Kivu. The next phases will be determined. They are not yet determined. They have to be determined based on a joint assessment that will be conducted jointly by the authorities of the Congo and the UN. It took some time because the Congolese there was no government in the DRC until recently. Now there is a government, so we're in a position to resume these discussions, and based on that, we will jointly assess what the next phases can be. Of course, the Security Council will have an important role in determining ultimately what will happen, in the next month and years.
He said the Secretary-General would shortly submit options to the Security Council on the way forward for MONUSCO, in an assessment that will give the highest level of attention to the current security situation in Eastern DRC.
Affected by M23 offensive, continues to go through a very, very serious situation with very significant consequences on the civilian population. I believe that the areas that has been taken over by M23 has been rather expanding over the recent period of time, and unfortunately we saw also a number of civilian fatalities as a result of attacks from the ADF. This is a situation that obviously the authorities of the DRC as well as the UN have to take into account when it comes to looking at the future of our presence. I mentioned the current discussions or the upcoming discussion when it comes to potential increased support to SAMI-DRC. I want to also highlight the fact that in spite of these very difficult situations, our peacekeepers in the DRC continue to protect hundreds of thousands of civilians, and some of them very directly protected by those peacekeepers.
And as the UN pulls back, the conflict appears to be intensifying in Congo. That today represents one of the largest humanitarian crises in the world, and the second largest displacement crisis globally, only after Sudan. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.